Bullock Experience, what is up? My schedule will straighten back out here in the next week or so, and I'll go live with you. I felt bad about doing that, but she was kind of freaking out about Thanksgiving and all that, having everything ready and situated. Be honest with you, I'd rather have you upset than her. You know what I mean? Actually, just about probably any day this week would be a good one if you wanted to. Ronnie Harris, good afternoon, man. Been a while since I've been on live. Tell you what, changing shifts, uh, man, it was a lot easier for me to do it on second shift when I got up in the mornings. Trying to get the time in the afternoons now is pretty tough sometimes. Scheduled for Wednesday night. Do it. Boom, it's on Wednesday night. Wednesday night, it is on. Are you having anybody else on? Anybody been fishing? Anybody fish today? It was cold and nasty here this morning. I went to ran to McDonald's and got us breakfast. It was kind of nasty out. Yeah, me and you's fine. Perfectly fine. What I'm tying is I'm actually cleaning up a bunch of extra jig heads that I painted a while back. I have no idea why I painted so many of those. I was only doing like 10 of them and ended up painting like 20. I kind of like that color. It's kind of cool. So I've tied up a crap load of these jig heads with different color bodies and all that kind of stuff. Clint Payne, what's up, buddy? Good morning. Afternoon. We ain't up to much, just tying a few jigs and trying to stay warm today. 922 barbecue, what's up? Lance McQuay, the Hawaiian fisherman. Yeah, that sounds like a plan to me. I needed to do something a little bit different, so I went with that. I needed something else to give me a headache with. So we're going to try the podcast thing, see what happens from that, see where that goes, see what happens next. Never know. It's pretty cool looking. I wasn't sure about that color with white marabou in it, but you could take a jig and do just about whatever you want with it. I don't think I UV resin coated those eyes. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I'm glad somebody's listening to it. I'm trying to figure out how, it's all new, so trying to figure out how to get that podcast moved across the board. I think I got it. I think I got it to take on Google, but I haven't been able to get it to take on Apple yet. I'm not sure why. Apple should have been the easiest since I got a Apple phone and Apple ID and all that stuff. But for some reason, it just didn't want to go. But I'll be getting people to go on that live also, where it just ain't me. I'm I've already got plans for it. I've already got people worked out to do it live. Definitely want to get J.R. Odom on it from Outlaw Rods, get Team Livingston on it. I don't know. We'll come up with people to get on it, make it interesting, make it fun to listen to. Right now, Clint, the podcast is on Spotify. I know for sure if you got Spotify or click one of the links I've shared, it should take you right to it if you got Spotify. It should be on Google. It'll all be under Eric Massey Jig Company. Randy Schaefer, good afternoon. But yeah, right now it's on Spotify. It could be on Google, I ain't sure. I think Google said it takes a while to get it to transfer over for who knows whatever reason. Google would be an easy one, you think, too, since I do so much with Google. It should have been easy to get it on Google, but it wasn't. Yeah, it's there. Let me know if you find it. Also, leave comments on it too. Let me know what you think about it. And if you got ideas of what you want on it or hear on it or something like that, I'm more than willing to do it. Been hanging out in the garage all day today and yesterday too, making deer jerky. I got the dehydrator set up down here. Ed Camplin. Time and talking. Wintertime's a good time to do this. It's always a good time to tie jigs and kick back and talk and see what everybody else is up to, see how everybody else is going to beat that cabin fever, which you know is getting ready to start. It's going to set in here before too long. Kind of already did today. I was watching the weather last night, hoping maybe by some chance I get the boat out on the river today, but I ain't braving the cold. I ain't doing it. I woke up this morning, my feet were cold, and once my feet are cold, it's hard to get back over top of it. Know what I mean? Certain things will stop me from fishing, and cold feet is one of them. Been pouring and painting all morning. You got big orders going out? Or are you pouring and painting for yourself? Order scene got kind of quiet. Jake's Jigs Lures. Oh yeah, that's without a doubt. Jake knows. Around here, December, January, and February. February is probably my most favorite month to fish. February into March. I like this time of year. I like it when the crappies school up like they do. Love those big old Roman schools of crappie following those shad, man. Usually if you can find those crappie like that, be ready. Today almost, I think today probably would have been a pretty good one with that weather change. I try to talk Zach. I hinted around about it, about going to Stockton this morning and fish for walleye. It's just a walleye looking sky out there this morning. Clouds moving by and overcast, cold. But yeah, this time of year, I love fishing this time of year. I'd rather fish this time of year than probably the spawn, tell you the truth. What's everybody else think? Anybody else got a reason why this is or isn't the best month to fish? Or what is to them? Yep, exactly. Same way I look at it too, Jake. You find those brush piles, and what we do is we'll find like 2 or 3 of them that are pretty close together, I'll set a path, put the boat on iPilot, and go back and forth between them and try to find the ones that are in between those brush piles. I haven't been for a while fishing for walleye, but I'm not done. I was just talking about that. Today would have been a good day to been out walleye fishing. And I'm sure this winter I will be out walleye fishing without a doubt. And document the differences in water fishing and the rest of the year. Yeah, I agree, Kurt. I like the difference right now between how much easier it is to fish this time of year versus the spawn. A lot of people air all their chips in on the spawn, saying that's the best time of year, and me, that's almost one of the worst. Yeah, live scope. There's a lot of people that chase those fish with live scope. There ain't no doubt about that. But I really think some of those fish are catching on. And I have noticed the last couple times we've been out that I've been catching them further out than in spots that I normally don't. We'll run down the lake with side scan and try to find the biggest schools and then go back and get over top of them. And usually it's where they shouldn't have been, or where I never would have thought 5 years ago I'd be sitting somewhere catching crappie. Honestly, I think they get used to that pinging. I think that I've never heard it. I can't say no more than what I read about it, that ping is doing something, that's training fish to know something's going on when they hear that ping. And I really, in my opinion, think they've moved further away from it. In my opinion, that's what I think. I could be wrong, but I still think the fishing's good this time of year. And a lot of times when there's a lot of other boats out on the lake, I don't really mind that either. I like running into a bunch of people while I'm fishing and talking and drinking coffee and fishing at the same time. Kind of makes it a little more enjoyable, I think. Yeah, not even the longer cast, getting further away from everybody. And I know you know exactly what I'm talking about, but if you go to Twin Coves, I bet if you go there right now, there's probably at least 3 or 4 boats back in those coves hitting those trees right there as you go into the mouth of it. Further out into the lake, out there where the mother brush piles are out in the channel, even this late summer when they should have been up in there feeding, they weren't. I was catching them already out, and just like I was fishing, just like the winter patterns, them fish were out deep in the channel, and they shouldn't have been. That's kind of my opinion. I could be totally wrong, but I think if you get a little ways away from the live scope. Hell, I got to read a comment that popped up on my screen. I couldn't remember if I whip finished that or not. And these here lately, all I've been doing is tying them up and bagging them up and putting them in boxes. I know those orders for Louisiana and Florida, people are going to start hitting me up about it. There's a few people down in Florida and Louisiana that I will always tie for. I had some good customers in Louisiana. We're going to tie all these up that exact same color. No, if I was, I don't know, I'm the type that when I get ready to pull into a cove or something, if there's a bunch of people there, I move on. I go on somewhere to where there's usually not even any boats at. I've been fishing Palm de Terre Lake enough to know that there's spots on that lake, no matter what time of year you're at, you're gonna catch fish. So I'll pull up in a spot. I'll be disappointed if there's a bunch of people in my spot, but I'll keep on moving. I'm not going to crowd in with a bunch of other people unless it's people I know. If it's people I know and I want to, fish, drink coffee, and shoot the crap with them for a little while, I'll pull up and do that. But if I've got paying customers in the boat and I pull up and there's a bunch of people in one spot, I'll go somewhere else. I won't keep fishing. Mark, what is up, buddy? Tied a Ned rig hook. I did one time for a guy. He asked me about it and I tied some up, and that was probably the only ones I've ever tied up. I've got a guy that's wanting some really big hair jigs, and he wanted some in a crawl pattern and he wanted some in a bleeding shad pattern. So these are going to be the ones I'm going to be tying for him. They're big ones. I got a bunch more in the oven curing, but I kind of wanted to see how these were going to come up. Yeah, I seen that picture. And they pile up like that on the bend at Palm de Terre the same way. What are y'all going to go see? Because we was going to go see a movie yesterday and I absolutely sat around the house and forgot about it. I wanted to go see Napoleon. That's what I wanted to go see yesterday, and we totally forgot about it. Totally missed it. But I had a guy message me, he wanted some bass jigs, and he wanted them oversized with the feathers. He wanted marabou tied into them, and he wanted it tied in thick, and he wanted it tied in heavy. Yeah, that's where I was going today, too. Let me know if it's got to be. I know it's going to be good. You ain't even got to tell me if it was good or not. But even at the bend, when it gets crowded, move out. Push out away from them. I've been doing that for years because you get a lot of people in there dead sticking. They're using a live scope, and we pull up on them, and we got all of our spider rig rods out. I don't want to fight around those guys. I usually move on, move out a little bit deeper, get out a little bit closer to the island, kind of get away from everybody a little bit. And usually you get far enough away and you watch those guys, you'll find something to laugh at pretty quick. 2 inches of snow. I'm shaking my head too. We barely missed it. It stopped west of us in, I think, Topeka, Kansas. And yeah, we missed it. We got the cold air and the cold wind coming off of it, but we didn't get the snow. Kansas can keep it. Y'all keep that snow. I lived in Iowa for 10 years, and I paid my dues to snow. I don't care if I ever see another snowflake the rest of my life. That's a fact. But yeah, we wanted to go see Napoleon. I heard that movie was pretty good too, Jake. But I thought I'd pop on live, see what was going on. I hadn't done a live in a long time, and I need to get a normal routine going. Get back into it. Actually, it feels more comfortable down here tying with the heater on and than it did in the summertime with the doors open. I don't know why, it's just kind of a good tying atmosphere down here today. It was a lot better when I had the radio going, playing YouTube music and all that stuff. Mark, I'm having a hard time trying to get that Spotify podcast over to Apple. I'm sure I'm doing something stupid wrong, but I can't get it. Can't get it over. 300. When you get to moving and you get in a routine and you got it down how you're picking each one up, how you're moving each one, you can get down to where you're doing it. You can get down to where you can do them pretty quick. I think one time I had it figured up that I could do 100 every 30 minutes. I think. That seems like a lot, but I really think that's what it was. I think I was doing 100 every 3 minutes. Glenn's Outdoors. Glenn, I ain't talked to you in a long time, bud. How you been? Maybe it was 100 an hour. I think it could have been. But I know I had a routine. I had a pile of jig heads here, had my paint right here, my oven right there, and man, I had one in my hand as I was painting and dipping one and hanging it, and another one and just going back and forth. When you start putting eyes on them, painting them and putting eyes on them, that's where the time comes in. It gets a little time consuming there. Ain't been too bad, Glenn. Switch shifts, back on first shift now. And I didn't think it would, but made it a lot harder to do lives or get the time. I got the time. It's just coming home and doing it. By the time I drive 45 minutes to get home from work, something about that drive just some days just puts me under. I'm done by the time I walk in that door. I want like a fresh something to drink, cup of coffee, and somewhere soft to sit. And usually I end up picking up stairs, and then she usually got dinner rolling and stuff like that. And yep, each color. That's the bad thing. Even though they all come from the same company, you know, like about everything ProTech, all those paints are just a little bit different on how they handle. To me, red is the absolute worst one. I'm better off to paint one white and then sprinkle red on. I cannot stand red powder paint. So instead of using red, a lot of times I will use candy red. It's a little bit better, a little bit easier to work with. To me, it is. But then there's other colors too. There's white, stuff like that. White sometimes can be a tough one. Chartreuse can be a tough one. Chartreuse always wants to go on thick. And for whatever reason, red wants to bubble when you're done with it. Even though I've thinned it out, I've used like three or four different cups of white, and I finally got one that does pretty good. Started doing half the time at 275. On the disco ones, I won't bake them. I don't put them in the oven at all. I'll coat them with Sally Hansen's first, or I'll UV resin coat them, one of the two. I won't put anything disco in the oven. I've done it, and I've had it come out right, and I've done it, and I've burnt them at the same time too, so I just don't even do it no more. Put a clear coat over top of them. Sometimes that'll eliminate your need for the oven. Yeah, try not baking them. And I'm pretty sure the disco paints are pretty good with the Sally Hansen's. You won't get that chemical reaction. You will, like white, I know for sure. Chartreuse, you'll get a chemical reaction with this and that, and want to melt it off. Or change of colors. This on a black jig head will make white spots on it. Fishing with Squirrel, how's it going, bud? Disco, try the head in disco and try coating it with that and see how that works. This is one that UV resin coated. I didn't bake that one. Yeah, I quit baking them. It got to be where even on the same temperatures, one time it would burn it, the next time it wouldn't. And if you do disco gold and it burns, that is an ugly color when it gets done. It's like the nastiest looking brown you'd ever see. And you could take those powder paints, get a small cup and mix different colors together and come up with your own colors. Just don't forget, write down what you did to make it. I've also got onto mine where a lot of times I will do white base paint, a white base powder coat, and then the color I want over top of it. Yeah, puke brown. That is exactly what it comes out as, puke brown. I mean, it ain't even a good crawfish looking color. It looks like the color of a cardboard box. Looks like a cardboard box to me is what it looks like. Oh, I'm going to get off here pretty soon. I ain't staying on very long. I didn't even see that comment. Glenn started seeing bucks 3 days ago. All right, we'll see. Mark, have a good one. And I'm going to tie this one here up, and I'm getting done. I just heard wife pull up. And that jerky's almost done. I made jerky out of ground meat this time. I did it out of muscle meat yesterday, did it out of ground meat today. And it seems like it came out pretty good. I was kind of impressed. Yes, if you don't mind, there's 15 people on and only 9 likes. Hit that thumbs up if y'all don't mind. It helps. Greatly appreciated if you hit that thumbs up. Randy, even if I quit say on Facebook or something like that, I'm not selling anymore. You're the exception. You always got a open spot to order jig heads, order jigs, or jig heads too. Either one, whichever one you want to order. Randy's a good dude. I've been getting him jigs for a couple years now. Another guy in Louisiana, probably my second good one to tie a sell to. I like it when you meet a customer and you kind of become friends with them. Also like the guys that tell me what they like about them and what they don't like about them. Thank you for all the help and advice you share. You're very welcome, Matt. I appreciate it. Thank you for watching. And that's probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to start teaching everything I know about tying, the materials, where I get the materials from. Some of that I'm going to be doing the majority of that on Spotify on my podcast. I got one getting ready to go up here pretty soon of just, maybe it might have been one I just posted. That was one I just posted. My God. It looks like money to you. One man's trash is another man's treasure. I can understand that. I get that. But when you're doing a crappie jig and you want something that pops and something that's shiny and you open that door up and that jig head looks like a cardboard box, it's not what you wanted. They'll catch fish. That's all I use in my boat. And when people go out and fish with me, that's usually all we use. Most people are pretty impressed with them when they use them. I'm not saying mine are any better than anybody else's, but they work. I use them. I should have been buying some from other people and like doing a cross-reference on them, but I don't do that. I never buy somebody else's jigs and put them down. A lot of people on there will, but no, there's something about tying a jig, mailing them off to somebody, and a couple of weeks later, a month later, get a picture of a big old slab crappie they caught with it, or a picture of them and their kids holding a big old crappie, or no, Scott, I still got squirrel tails, bud. My little boy's been itching to go out and shoot some squirrels. We'll probably go out and get some, but I guarantee you, I just cleaned this little box out here the other day, and there's still two 1-gallon Ziploc bags of squirrel tails in there. I'm good on squirrel tails for a while, but I appreciate it. I like watching those people that taught their kids are tying jigs, while they do it, and the smile on their face when they go out and they catch a big old crappie on something and they tie it. It's pretty cool. Pretty rewarding, I know that. But if you haven't yet, I'm on Spotify, Eric Massey Jig Company. Just look it up on Spotify. Hit that thumbs up on there too, or like. I'm not even sure how it really works. But hit that like, share, subscribe on here. I'm going to hop off here. I will be back on Wednesday night with the Bullock Experience. Be watching for that. Kelly, if you share a link to it or something, or put a link or something up, I'll share that. I'll make sure that gets out. Until then, I will see you guys later. Y'all be good, stay warm, and have a good rest of your weekend.